friends, it's Nancy, and I have done a little prep work this morning, and I thought maybe we would do a bit of a craft with me. I don't want to go over an hour. I like to watch other craft with me's for about an hour. It gives you enough time to really get into a project, but not lose track of time. So anyway, let's get started. I'm still working on my Raggedy Ann books. So I showed you how I prepped these the other day. So this one is the 5 birthdays in a row. And I've got some stuff cut out and ready to go. So I will just move this to the side. And let's start with page 1. So what have I got here? Okay, I remember what I wanted to do with this. So I want to put this page here and then this one on top and a little bit of lace on there. So, so it'll create a pocket. Okay. Let me think about this. Not too long. Okay, so let me figure out where I want the edge of this lace to be so that it's straight. I know I'm a little weird about straight. I feel really jealous of all the people who are like, oh, I don't measure. Good on ya. But I do. So it's Saturday. It's Groundhog Day. So I wonder what the little groundhog has to say about winter. God knows we've had winter this week. And today my husband is starting a class at the local college. He's teaching, he's not teaching, he's taking a class about how to repair guitars. He's wanted to do this for years, and it's pretty pricey. It's a 6-week class, and I think all told it was like $900 or something. So it is pretty pricey, but he's wanted to do it so long, so I said just go. A, because he, you know, he's a good guy, he deserves a treat, and B, I'd like to have the house to myself for the day. I have red thread in here right now. I'm going to take it out and switch to white. I know I should have done that, but it is what it is. So my plan today is to just stay in and work on these pages and get my craft room back in some semblance of order. I have been organizing. I got these really great vinyl envelopes from my sister's friend on Thursday. I guess I was in town visiting, and I think they are meant to be the vinyl tags that when you go to that didn't work. When you go to the furniture store, the price tags are in these vinyl things. So I've been working on moving my dies and stuff, and the stamps. So here's one here. So it's, I don't know, 5 by 8 or something. So I just cut the packaging down a bit and then stuck it in the envelope. So I've got my dies and my stamps together. I love this idea, and I've been able to get rid of a whole bunch of packaging, and this goes in a bin that I got at the dollar store, and everything's vertical. I love it. Of course, not every everything's gonna fit in them, like the rubber stamps that are mounted they won't go in there. But yeah, I'm really super excited about that. And I hope having them, you know, at the flick of a finger will increase how often I use them. Because, you know, they're not cheap. I'm gonna do a zigzag. I'm gonna just do it upside down so that my foot can follow the... I'm going to do it off first, because when my zigzag starts, it puts a couple of stitches in one place. I don't like that. So I'll hold my thread out of the way so it doesn't get underneath. Perfect. Run that right off. And I know I'll be bringing that back up, but let's get out of the way for now. And I need to trim the lace down. Yeah, there's no reason I need to go out today. Went to Michael's yesterday at noon with my son. My youngest son and I work in the same office. And we've recently hired new staff, and we've applied for funding for some summer students. So hopefully that will all come together. And we need to make room for these new bodies. You know, we're fighting for space. So yesterday, I share an office. He has his own office. And we moved our executive director to his little office because she had a big one. And we're going to put 2 staff in his office, or her old office, his new office. So, of course, we had to take down all of his art and diplomas and stuff, and so we went to Michael's to get new, what do you call that? You know, the 3M, it's kind of like Velcro, but it's not, and it's not permanent. Anyway, it'll come to me in the middle of the night, like most things do. And so we went and got that, and while I was there, I had a 50% off coupon. So I had to buy something. So I bought stamps, a set of stamps, and the coupon was on my phone. So when I was checking out, I put my phone down on the counter and left it there. So last night, I'm looking all over for my phone, like, oh God, well, I know I had it. So did you see how I put the that extra 3/4 of an inch in between the two sheets? So now I'm going to stitch all the way around. It wouldn't hurt my feelings if I added a tab to this, though. Let's add a little tab. Anyway, so there is an app on my phone. So I went on my laptop and I just typed into Google, where's my phone? And because they're synced together, I was able to find my phone was at Michael's. So I called Michael's, and I said, I was there over the noon hour and I left my phone. Well, I don't know. And I said, oh, it's there. I just did my where's my phone thing, and it says it's at Michael's, loser. So she laughed and she went and checked, and sure enough, it was there. So I went and picked it up last night. Do I want to add a button? I do want to add a button. You know what I think I'll do? I'm going to sew the button to here and then stitch this down and then fold it in half so the button's on top. Make sense? Okay. This is just leftover binding from binding journals together. Anyway, so I went and picked that up last night. So I don't need to make any Michael's trips today. I've got all the supplies I could ever need in my whole life. But I kind of want to go out because I'm all by myself and I can just do whatever I want. Isn't that terrible? Everybody thinks that Doug and I are like the cutest couple ever. And I mean, seriously, we are. But but you know what? It's nice having some time alone from time to time. You know, I like them and all, but heck, get out of my hair. Scissors. So if you didn't know about that Google app thing, look into it because I have used it more than once. And it will make your phone ring too. So if you're alone and you don't have anybody another phone to call, you can use the Google thing to make your phone ring. So that's cool. All right. So this is the up. I will sew this here. Okay. I'm going to start at the bottom. I wish I had kept the red thread now. I can switch back, can't I? Sure you can, Nancy. Anyway, I haven't got a lot of red thread left on here. That's my least favorite part about sewing is bobbins. Did you know you can buy bobbins that are already full? I think that's crazy, but I can see who their audience would be. It would be their favorite market if I was still sewing as much as I used to. Anyway, if you're here because Sweet Diane mentioned me in her video the other night, which was awesome. I was so surprised. I cut the video off and I called my husband, come here, you gotta see this. So I was pretty excited about that. Anyway, so if you're here because Diane sent you over to see me, thanks so much for coming. And if you're new to my channel, I can introduce myself. So, what should I tell you about? So I could give you a little crafting history, I guess. I have always been a crafter. Do one more stitch. My grandmother taught me to knit when I was about 5. And I've since figured it out. I was a bit of Nana's pet. So I'm one of 8 grandchildren. But I was exactly the right age when she retired. So I would have been 4 when she retired. The other grandchildren were in school or they were too young. So I was really her plaything. She took me everywhere and spoiled me rotten, and still does. She's 102 now, which is amazing, which makes me think I've got some pretty great genes, and I'm going to live forever. But yeah, she taught me how to knit when I was 5. She taught me how to sew. She taught me how to quilt, to embroider. She called it fancy work. So I knew how to do all of those things from a very, very young age. My paper crafting started, I'm just going to go over this again because I don't want the tab to be too heavy. About 2000. And my sister actually had a scrapbook store, so I used to design projects for her store and make up kits for her and teach classes and stuff. So yeah, that looks good. So I always had the opportunity to test out new product, and anything I wanted I could just take off the shelves. So I did a lot of paper crafting then. Kind of got out of it when my kids got too old to do, you know, take a picture with mom kind of thing. They were not into that. My kids are grown and gone. My youngest is 25, and my oldest will be, he'll be 29 next week. So the oldest actually he's in the Royal Canadian Navy, and he lives out in Halifax. So we don't get to see him as much as we'd like. Don't get to see his wife as much as we'd like because we adore her. She's fabulous. What can I put here? I have a whole bunch of ephemera ready to go. What if I put this little thing here and it can be used as a tuck spot? Yep, let's do that. I cut all of the images out of an older book and backed it on some card and then put on this children's writing paper and then zigzagged around all of them. So they were ready to go no matter what. It's hard for me doing these Raggedy Ann ones because I like to do really grungy vintage stuff. So I have put the ink away. And I'm trying my best. I think I can be raggedy, but I can't be grungy dirty. Okay, so there's one page. It's actually 3 pages. And I demonstrated how I did this in another video, so you'll have to go back. My last video? Yeah, my last video. This one is going to be just a 1 page, but I'm also going to do a fabric flap. So I'll glue this down first. Fabric flip. So my oldest, like I said, is in Halifax, and Halifax is lovely. I love Nova Scotia, period. think it's been about a year and a half since we were last there. But my son was home last spring. He was doing a course at Camp Borden, CFB Borden, which is, oh, not terribly far from us, maybe an hour and a half. So he was at Borden, and me or his brother would go up and pick him up every weekend. Actually, Doug went and picked him up a couple times too, I think. This doesn't seem to be square. So we got 8 weeks with him last year. So I think it's our turn to go out, but I think his sweet wife would like to come for another visit, and maybe they should, you know. Like I said, Nana's 102. For my fabric flip, I was going to put this envelope at the bottom first, and then it can be used as 2 tuck spots. And yeah. So Nana still knits. She had been living on her own until last Christmas. She was in her own apartment and was putting up her Christmas decorations and tripped and fell and broke her hip. So she was 100 then. So there was no going back to the apartment, but she's doing really well. She's uses a walker, gets out of, she's in a retirement home, she's not in a nursing home. So she gets out quite often and goes shopping with my brother-in-law. She loves to shop. And she loves to shop with him. She says he's a good shopper, whatever that means. And again, I did sew a button here. Let me see what that looks like. So I'm going to put it up a little higher. Okay. So they go out shopping for hours. I'm not much of a shopper, to tell you the truth. I'm more of a commando shopper. I get in, I get out. Unless it's thrift shopping. Then I could spend a very, very long time. But that's not about accumulating for me as much as it is about the treasure hunt. You know, like you go to the grocery store, you know, you can get this. You know, you know, you go to Walmart, you can get that. But when you go thrift shopping, you never ever know what you're gonna find. So that's fun for me. But I hate other kinds of shopping. So this machine, it's a Janome. I've had it for, oh, a solid 10 years. I had to replace the foot pedal one time because it was no longer doing what foot pedals are supposed to do. But otherwise, it's been pretty good. I do need to take it in for service because it's been so long, and I think maybe paper puts a lot more fibers into it. So it might be gumming up the works a bit. But otherwise, it's been a good old machine. It's a quilter's companion. I was doing a lot of quilting then. Not so much anymore. Actually, I got rid of almost all of my quilting supplies last fall. I just put a ad on Kijiji, and some woman came, backed her truck up, and handed me a bunch of cash, and away she went. I didn't reverse stitch on this end, so I pulled the thread to the, I don't know if you can see that, probably not. I pulled the thread to the inside so that I could tie a knot with the ends. Okay. Alright, that's another page. What could I put here? Something pink. Yep, I can put that in there as a tuck spot. I think I've just put the glue on the wrong side. No, I didn't. Well, 3 cheers for me. So that's kind of my crafting biography. I live in southwestern Ontario, near Toronto, about an hour from Toronto, I guess. So I live in Kitchener-Waterloo, which is a largest sort of metropolitan area. About 500,000 people, I guess, in the region. And I'm a social worker, so I work at a community legal service which provides legal services to people who are living in poverty and wouldn't otherwise be able to afford legal services. So it's mostly about disability benefits or landlord and tenant matters, so preventing eviction and homelessness, that sort of thing. This is a biggish envelope, and my plan is to sew this into the center of the signature and then glue that shut. I've already punched a thumb hole in the top so that I can run a big tag there, but I would like to put this piece of lace on. I actually considered like making the edges like finished edges and leave the bottom raggedy. First thing I gotta do is sort of sew this little patch down. First things first. I don't know how well this is working because I know you can't see me sewing. Well, I guess you can. You can see my bobbin a bit. So this is just a scrap of fabric that I had in my junk. I have no idea where I got it. Probably a thrift store or a yard sale or something. It's not something I would have bought. It's not cotton, so I know I wouldn't have bought it. It's probably a poly cotton or something. Okay, that's okay. I will do the bottom edge first. But I thought the colors of that little scrap went really well with the theme. So I've actually cut a couple little squares like that because I might use them again. Maybe do some little collage, fabric collages or something. Okay, so now I gotta turn this under. When I was scrapbooking, I used to like to go to crops, you know, where you get together with 100 of your best friends and just spend the whole day. So I saw one advertised for today, and it was 9 to 9. It was $50, and that included lunch and dinner. But I thought, how could I take all of my stuff? Like, there's no way I could containerize all of this. So I'm having my own crop at home today. Oh no. You know what I just did, right? I sewed this envelope closed. Okay, so we'll just... Oh, Nancy. Well, this happens to the best of us, right? It isn't a Nancy video without a happy accident. Oh, yeah. So my role as a social worker is working. So a lot of... Oh no, that is a... Oh no, this is the flap. Oh, Nancy. Anyway, so my role as the social worker is to help people who are, you know, struggling with lots of social issues in addition to perhaps legal issues. And I mean, if you don't have any place to live and you don't have any money, those I think are social issues as well. Because there's a, you know, very high correlation between mental health and addiction and poverty, a lot of the population that I work with is very, very vulnerable, and I love my job. Love, love, love my job. So I get to work with, you know, young people and families and senior citizens. I never know what's coming through the door. Yeah, actually, speaking of coming through the door, yesterday it came up in my Facebook memories, that was the 3rd anniversary of an event that happened 3 years ago, where a young man arrived at our office with a long gun, a rifle, and a crossbow. And it was extremely scary at the time. We laugh about it now. but I saw him first because I was at my desk, which faces the window to the parking lot. So I saw him first. I was on the phone with a client, and my roommate was on the phone with the courthouse. And we don't have a lot of staff, but we have a physically big office that sort of weaves around like a rabbit warren. And I screamed so loud, "Get down, he's got a gun." I went flying up the hall to get to a phone that wasn't in front of a window so I could call the police. My roommate, she went flying up the hallway, took her headset went flying, but she left the courthouse, like the phone was still but she didn't hang up. They were still connected. So I called the police. The courthouse called the police. So they were getting calls from two separate ends of the road. But they came rather quickly and arrested the young man. Nobody was injured. But it was just after my birthday. So a former colleague who I had used to work with at a different office, she and I were meeting for lunch. So it was about 11:30 and I texted her and I said, something's happened, can you come and get me? So she came and got me. By that time I had already filled out my police report and everything. And about 5 of us jumped in her car and we went to a local English pub and took the rest of the day off. Sorry, my hair got caught here. And then, just giggled our faces off for the rest of the day. Because, gallows humor, and, that's how we deal with stress sometimes. These postcards came from a calendar that I got at a thrift store and I cut down. So, like I said, this will be sewn into the middle of a signature. I'll seal this flap down and it'll be a pocket. So there's that. What do we got going on here? Oh, here's another one. I'm not going to do any decoration, but it's a window. It's a big, like it was about this big before I cut it down. It was a big window envelope. Again, I will sew this into the signature and seal it. And I've got this postcard, came from the same calendar. And this is the Raggedy Ann and Andy 5 birthday parties in a row. So this one, they've got balloons. The other postcard, they've got cake. So I thought they'd fit. So I'm going to put that card down there. And then Raggedy Ann. You know what I could do? I could do a little rickrack or something. No, I don't think I will. No, I don't think I will. Feels naked though. I could do another tab. Let's do a tab. So I want to get a raggedy edge first because it's raggedy. And Yeah, that matches with her dress really nice. Just checking the time. We're getting there. I don't think I'm going to get through all these pages. Better take this part out before I sew through that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a little scrap of white paper in there to give it a little bit more stability in case I want to put another button on there. And I mean, why wouldn't I want to put a button on there, right? Now if I can just find a piece of paper. I just want to use plain white. I don't want to... What's this? Whoop. Whoop. I had my hand on something. Where'd you go? I don't want to use my fancy paper up. Where'd you go, glue? So, more about me. A lot of my videos involve thrift hauls because I love thrifting. And I also have a antiques booth down at Southworks Antiques in Cambridge, which is about half an hour south of here. I do work in Cambridge from time to time because it is part of my catchment area. I want this wide. So I can check in and tidy things up frequently and drop off new stock. I'm moving to a smaller booth that's a little easier to manage because it's a lot of work, I gotta tell you. Yeah. Especially when you're, working full-time and got lots of hobbies like I do. It's hard. When you buy thrift things to put in, or yard sale things or auction things to put in your antique booth, it takes cleaning and research, and you want to identify things and make sure that you're getting a decent dollar for your hard work, but at the same time, don't put more of the effort into it than you're going to be compensated for. Because I have to pay rent on the booth, and 10% of my sales is collected as a commission for the antique mall. So, I have to make a decent profit to cover my overhead costs. Okay. That's nice. And it's going to hang out a smidgeroony. And I can add something to that later. But but I don't have to. Put old Raggedy back in here. I used to collect Raggedy's, and my niece Amanda did too. When she was little. She had a really big Raggedy Ann, so big that she was able to wear the doll's dress for Halloween one year. What else have I got going on here? Oh, these are magazine pages. They're ready to go. I might want to put some trim on these. I believe I will. So this one. Oh, heck. Okay. This one says Raggedy Ann's Birthday Party Book. So this was a different book altogether. I'm going to use this trim that's kind of ruffled and has red dots on it. I used that in my other Raggedy book that I did too. Put my needle down. Did you see how I didn't measure this? What? Scary. I did do some thrifting this week and I got some super cool stuff. I got a book that is a like a church lady's cookbook from 1925, and the left-hand side of the page is all advertisements, and then the recipes are on the other side, which is so cool. I love old advertisements. So I got that. I'll have to show it to you in a haul video. What else did I get that was really cool? Oh, I got this other one. It was from like 1878, and it talks about how to be successful in business. So, you know, how to write a letter and penmanship, and lots of charts about interest and all kinds of banking stuff. I think the pages are going to be amazing. So, okay, so I put that in. I think I'll do a little bit of eyelet trim on. This comes from a 1969, March 1969 magazine called Children's Friend. I got a whole whack of these a couple months ago now, I guess. And the images are so cool, so retro. I need to glue this down or I will have a fit. Where is my... There it is. Glue stick. Should I put it on the short edge? Let's put it on the short edge. This is empty. Okay, I think I got enough glue there to hold that down and throw that out. But no worries, I have many replacements for the glue stick. So the eyelet lace, I believe I got it, I know I got it at a thrift store or something, but I believe it was already gathered, so I just pulled the threads out that gathered it, and it left sort of this raggedy edge. which is also very cool. Okay. I feel like I want to stitch this upside down. I need straight lines and order in my life. Just trim this off. That makes me sad. It's not square. Try again. That's better. I mentioned that my son and I work in the same office. He has a degree in criminology, and when he was in university, did a practicum at our office. I wasn't his supervisor. Somebody else was his supervisor. But when it was all done and he got finished his education, they offered him a position. So I was pretty stoked about that. It's nice having a young man with a full-time job, and I kind of want to do a fabric ruffle. Let's do a fabric ruffle. And then I think that'll be our hour. Grab my trimmer, even though I hate it. So I did a tutorial about how to do fabric ruffles in a different video. So you can go back to that one to see how I do this. But so what I do is just start with a piece of paper. This is probably heavier than I like, but it was handy. And oh, I need a new glue stick. So just put some glue here, and you want it really wet. So I was telling you about my son, but we don't see each other often. Like Mondays and Fridays we're in the same physical location, but the rest of the week we're in different offices altogether. So he's in Cambridge, or I'm in Cambridge. Actually, this Monday I won't see him because, oh yeah, I will see him because we have a staff meeting in the afternoon. But you see how I just push that fabric up? It works. So yesterday being Friday, we were in the same office, and I helped him move his stuff to his new office, and our executive director wasn't there yet, so we moved all her stuff. Jordan kept saying, she's gonna be mad, she's gonna be mad. I said, no, she's not gonna be mad. She's just overwhelmed by the whole idea of doing it. That's why it's not been done yet. I'm having a hard time with this. It doesn't want to shift. So when she finally did come in and saw that we had moved her stuff to a smaller office, she was okay with it. We hung her art back up, and I told her that I didn't go through her drawers or anything because that would just be weird, so she had to do her own drawers. I just moved all of her files and stuff, and art and stuff that was on her desk. So Jordan will be sharing an office with one of our new lawyers, and he's a young guy. I said, you guys can, you know, hang up heavy metal posters and stuff in here, so they're pretty excited about that. Jordan's old office, he had a like a big Batman decal on his door to his office, which always got lots of chuckles from people as they saw it. Okay, done. Then felt like I had wanted to put it on this one. I think that's what I will do. Do you ever wake up in the morning with an earworm? A song that keeps playing over and over and over and over in your head? I have an earworm today. And it's that song from the new Lady Gaga Star is Born movie. We went to the theater and saw it. It was really, really good. If you haven't seen it, I don't even know if it's still in the theaters or not. But my husband's been learning it, and I don't think he knows that I don't think he knows I know he's learning it. I think he would be embarrassed. But I came home last night. I was home for about 2 hours, and he was down in the basement playing it over and over and over and over and over again. And then later on he came upstairs, he says, "Oh, how long you been here?" I said, "Well, about 2 hours." Maybe I'll add a little bit of rickrack. This here's some vintage rickrack. Oh, that's super cute. Super cute. Just like regular cute, but with a cape. Alright, we are at the 1 hour mark now. So I'm going to shut off the camera and carry on with my work here. But I'm glad you stopped in. If you have any questions or comments, I'm always happy to hear from anyone. And if you like what you're seeing, you can click subscribe and give me a like and let me know how you felt about my video. And we will see you again soon.